Hey guys, this is Jitesh from MintingM hosting today's discussion with Eric. He is the founder and CTO of Livepeer. Eric is a pure technologist and a serial entrepreneur who, prior to Livepeer, founded Wildcard Inc., a mobile card platform built for the mobile-centric and web-compliant world. Eric holds a degree in electrical and computer engineering from the Carnegie Mellon University and is based out of New York, United States. Welcome, Eric.
Thank you, Jitesh, for having me. Really excited to be talking to you and the community.
Yeah, same here. So, quickly to start with this discussion, let us try to understand, what is Project Livepeer all about and what inspired you to start this project.
Great. I would say Livepeer's mission is to build the world's open video infrastructure. And what that means is we want to build this, this platform where anybody can build a video application on top without needing to have to use these siloed infrastructure that exists today, right? And without a little bit of context in how video works today is a little hard to understand that. So let me go into the context a little bit. The video streaming industry has been around for a long time. Since the 90s when people started streaming video on the internet. But really, how that evolved over time to where we are today is that now there's a lot of cloud-based hosting infrastructure for video streaming. But if you look at the cost and if you look at the scale of those infrastructure and if you look at how they run, they usually are built on these cloud providers, right? So Amazon, Google, Microsoft, these kind of public cloud infrastructures. Because these cloud infrastructure are already pretty expensive, and because these video tools are really complex, the really great solutions and really easy to use solutions are all kind of built for the high-end use case, right? Which means if you're streaming the Olympics, or if you're streaming like a really popular event, you would use these types of streaming solutions, and they will work really well, right? But they're very expensive to use, both from a video encoding and processing perspective, and from a delivery perspective, right? Delivering it to millions of people. And because of this, it's really difficult for a developer to say, I want to create my own video live streaming solution, right? So if I wanted to create a Twitch or a YouTube Live or Facebook Live or any of those types of applications, it's really difficult to do. Both because the technology itself is just inherently very complex, and because the infrastructure is very expensive. To put some numbers around it, it costs around $3 per hour per stream to transcode the video on these public cloud providers. And you have to pay for the delivery of the video, which is, on average for YouTube, like about $1 a month per user, right? So as you can see, if you have a platform with millions of users, you're really paying, a lot of money, right? Tens, hundreds of millions of dollars a month to power that application. And that makes it really difficult to create applications that have different use cases, right? For example, if you wanted to create a free-to-use application and try to monetize in some other way, this type of cost structure kind of prohibits you from doing that. So that's why we kind of have this phenomenon today where all the really popular user-generated content video streaming applications are owned by these large companies, right? Because they're the only ones that can actually afford to pay for the infrastructure to build these applications. And it's really hard to start a new one. So with Livepeer, we saw this opportunity of using the blockchain as a tool to really build a completely different infrastructure, right? One that's not siloed, one that's not run on the traditional cloud-hosted infrastructure, one that's really taking advantage of this whole new internet infrastructure that's that's being built today, which is the cryptocurrency mining industry, right? A lot of people don't think of cryptocurrency mining as like a computation platform because people think of it as like, oh, people are just mining cryptocurrency. But if you look at how things work today, they're really run by professional operators that have experience running professional data centers, right? And the quality of the operation is quite high, and so Livepeer is able to take advantage of this new infrastructure and be able to kind of co-locate our computation nodes on the same cryptocurrency mining nodes that are mining other cryptocurrency and taking advantage of the spare resource there, and to really drive down the cost of this infrastructure. So if you look at the cost that you're able to get on the Livepeer network, that's 50 to 100 times cheaper than what you would get on a public cloud infrastructure, right? So that makes it really interesting. So we've created a product on top that kind of hides away all the complexity of building on the blockchain, that makes things very easy to use as an API, and as a result, we've recently been seeing a lot of growth in this area. So that's a long-winded way to answer the question of what is the mission and how what are we trying to build here, right? But really what we're trying to build is an open infrastructure that allows developers to really easily build at scale applications that can compete with these large players like a YouTube or a Facebook or a Twitch. And the long-term goal is we want to see thousands of those applications exist on top of Livepeer, and we want to have an open infrastructure so that anyone can do it.
Oh, okay, that's interesting. So basically, video streaming made easy for the community in a decentralized way, so that it's affordable and accessible for anybody to do that. Cool.
That's right.
Yeah. Okay, and now as we all know, the size of the video streaming and the OTT industry is north of hundreds of billions of dollars. So 80% of the internet bandwidth that is consumed by video streaming, with your disruptive technology in such a huge market, what market share are you targeting in next 3 to 5 years?
Yeah, really good question. So as you said, right, 80% of all the video on the internet is video, and the goal of Livepeer is to really commoditize that and make that 10 times bigger in the next 5 years, right? So yeah, one is we're targeting taking the market, kind of getting market share in the existing market. But I think the bigger opportunity here is because of this price disruption and this type of disruptive technology, the Livepeer technology has the potential to grow the existing market by 10 times, right? It just by lowering the cost 10 times, you grow the overall market. You bring in all these new use cases, and that's the goal. Is we want to completely commoditize the video streaming infrastructure, and from there, able to dramatically grow the size and take a very big chunk from the growth.
Amazing. And we also know that there are players like Theta who are trying to solve the same problem. So as more and more players participate into this industry, serving this industry and solve this major problem, which is expensive affair of video streaming, probably we grow as an industry. Okay. Also, the shift from the traditional industry to a decentralized market grows, and as you rightly said, the overall industry growth is probably predicted to be 20 to 25% for next 5 to 10 years, which is like 10x in 10 years. So it is a huge opportunity for players like Livepeer, who are trying to solve one of the crucial problems of the traditional market or industry that video streaming runs on. So that's great. So quickly running to my next question, that's interesting. So for our investing community as well, so how does it feel that you have Grayscale and investors like institutions like Pantera backing Livepeer, who are known for spotting hidden gems quite early? So how does it feel for Livepeer?
Yeah, I would say I feel very fortunate to be able to work with great partners like Grayscale and Pantera, right? And those are just two examples, but we have many partners that have supported us from the very early days. And you know, it's just very fortunate to be working with people who really have a belief in the fact that you know, the Web3 infrastructure is going to be the predominant infrastructure in the future, right? And people like that kind of have already believed in it for in the last 5 years that we've been working on this project, and we continue to believe that in the next 10, 20 years, this industry will continue to grow and we'll continue to find exciting opportunities. So so that's really cool. And in terms of, you know, how kind of the market reacts in this cycle, right? It's something that the way that we cannot control. So it's always just good to, you know, it's good to see when things like the Grayscale Trust announcement happen, and it's kind of a really exciting validation point for us that, you know, they only select a very few number of projects, and Livepeer is amongst one of them because they really believe in the vision, and they think Livepeer has a big potential, and it's differentiated kind of in this Web3 ecosystem from what all the other projects are doing. Right?
Oh, okay, good. So just a comparison, or probably, you know, your approach towards solving this problem. Just wanted to know how Livepeer is different than, you know, existing players like Theta, who are catering to the same industry, so that probably our audience could know that, you know, what is the competitive advantage, or, you know, what is that niche that you are targeting other than the peers.
Yeah, really great question. I would caveat this with saying that I think Theta is a great project. There are other video-centric, you know, decentralized projects like Video Coin, right? Like, they're all run by really talented people, and we're all trying to contribute to this ecosystem, right? And I think one of the nice thing about building in the Web3 space is that you know, everyone is cheering each other on, and where, you know, things are much more open than the other ecosystems, and we're kind of borrowing ideas from each other and trying to grow the ecosystem as a whole, right? But that being said, I can tell you a little bit about the difference between Theta and Livepeer. Also caveating that with that, you know, I don't spend all day thinking about Theta, right? I spend all day thinking about Livepeer. So the information that I have about Theta is very limited. So what I would say is that the biggest difference is that is our approach in how we think about building, especially around infrastructure, right? My understanding is that Theta is building this verticalized ecosystem where it contains a user-facing application. It contains kind of nodes that run the CDNs. It contains some of the validator sets that they selected to run their validation nodes and staking, right? So all of that is really interesting. So they're trying to kind of tackle not only the content delivery side of things, but also the kind of the in-application economics, right? How to actually incentivize creators to like actually create content and put it onto like the Theta application, and how to store it and things like that. And I hear that they recently also added you know, mechanisms like transcoding, but it's unclear for me how that works yet. In terms of Livepeer, the way we approach the problem is that we very much focus on openness and video and the video infrastructure, right? So the goal for us is really, we want to be laser focused on building the best infrastructure, the most scalable infrastructure, and the most cost-effective infrastructure, so that we can power hundreds or thousands of applications on top of Livepeer, right? And a lot of them, like, regardless, they are in the Web3 space or the Web2 space, because we think even traditional video applications can benefit greatly from the infrastructure that Livepeer is building. So we're really trying to enable just the whole video industry in general. right? And we want to be laser focused on that. We've been doing a lot of work in the video transcoding and encoding and decoding space. We are just dipping our toe into AI around video, which is really exciting. And this is opportunity that we've been thinking about for a long time, which is this idea of, once the video is being encoded and decoded on the Livepeer network, we can actually also add AI functionalities like classifying what type of video it is, right? So this is very useful for things like content moderation, to be able to automatically detect, is there people streaming illicit content on your video platform? Is there people streaming, adult content on your video platform, right? All these things that these video applications need. We can do things like automated speech to text translation, right? Adding subtitles. We can do things like object detection, object tracking in automated ways, right? So all of these AI tasks are able to run on the video network at Livepeer because we already have this scalable infrastructure built out, right? So adding kind of value add features starts to become a lot easier. So that's one. As I said, the goal is to continue to focus on the infrastructure and make it really good and make it useful for many applications.
Okay, so adding new features to the ecosystem and making it more and more easy to use for the participants. That's amazing. Now, a very interesting question, or what I can say is, I have a lot of interest to ask you this question and understand. Okay, as you rightly pointed out, in case of Theta, incentivizing the participants of the ecosystem. So this makes me ask you this question that. Can you just explain me the tokenomics, how it is designed for Livepeer so that the ecosystem grows in a healthy way?
Yeah, sure. The token economics works like this, right? So there are two incentives for participants to join the network and you can very much think of the Livepeer network as a two-sided marketplace, where on the one side, there are people who are using this network to build applications, right? And so they're paying fees into the network in the form of Ethereum right now, but in the future they can pay in any crypto tokens. So they're using the fees to pay for the service, and they are on the other side. If you're providing infrastructure, you're getting paid that fee directly into the from the users who are using the platform, right? And if you go to the Livepeer Explorer, you will see that that fee has been increasing in the past 6 months over time. Depending on the amount of usage on the network, the higher usage, the higher the fee goes, right? And so that's one incentive. Another incentive is this staking and reward minting incentive, and that's denominated in Livepeer tokens, right? So you can think of it. Livepeer was one of the first kind of delegated proof of stake protocols that launched, and we decided to use Ethereum to do this. But the idea here is that every round, which is about a day, there's an amount of new token that's minted as reward from the protocol, and then that amount is sent to the infrastructure providers that are running their infrastructure, right? And at the same time, Livepeer token holders can stake their token toward these infrastructure providers, and the amount of the reward that these infrastructure get depends on the amount of stake that they have from the stakers, right? So what this allows us to do is to be able to fairly distribute the reward across every infrastructure provider, and the staking also serves as a signal for who is providing the best infrastructure, right? So in the long term, what you see is people who are providing the best infrastructure with the highest quality, who earn the highest fees, get the most amount of stake, and then over time they will get more. They will get rewarded more.
Okay, so it's a win-win-win situation for everybody in the ecosystem. That's really amazing. So, by the way, we at MintingM have a algorithmic based approach for investing. So, Livepeer was spotted because of his tokenomics. That the algos found the tokenomics really interesting. I think you have around 29 or 30 or million tokens outstanding into the supply, and with the inflation that you have, it's like bare minimum inflation in the ecosystem. So that was really interesting for us, and we spotted it when it was around 100 or $200 million trading on the exchanges. So that's really interesting. So I wanted to have your view, because I personally was interested to know how it works and things like that. Okay, so
congrats on spotting it early on.
yeah, happy for that. Yeah, really happy that we spotted it really early. So yeah, so moving towards probably last question of this discussion. What are your plans with Livepeer? Future plans with Livepeer for next 3 to 5 years?
Yeah, 3 to 5 years is a long time in the crypto world.
Correct.
But I would say our plan is to stay laser focused in on the product that we are building right now. Continue to provide this 10x savings for all existing video applications. Continue to bring on new applications. We recently just crossed a really exciting milestone of having 2 million weekly minutes broadcasted on Livepeer. Right, we want to 6x that in this year, and we want to 100x that in the next few years. Right, just continue to bring on more and more infrastructure, and continue to bring on more and more usage onto the network. And for the I can share a little bit about some roadmap in the next little bit. We plan to scale out our infrastructure by moving on to layer 2 solution on Ethereum, so that we dramatically lower the cost. We'll continue to add value add features in terms of AI, right, to make it more useful for more applications. And yeah, so over time, we want to just continue to make the journey towards this completely open video infrastructure that would power the world's video applications.
Okay, that's great. So adoption and scaling and going multiples from here. That sounds really interesting, and probably we can have a follow-up call with you probably 1-2 quarters down the line on check up on the progress that is happening, and probably keep our community updated that where are we in terms of our goals and developments and things like that, how the community is growing basically. So
absolutely.
So that was really amazing insights, hearing right from you, and hopefully it will add value to all of our viewers, and they'll get details and the insights of the project Livepeer, the problem that it is solving right now, and what is the way ahead for it. So, long story short, basically, really small fish in a large, huge ocean, and tremendous opportunity for Livepeer from here. So with this, probably we'll conclude this call and sign up, and we hope to catch up soon with you guys. So any closing comments that you want to give, Eric?
Yeah, I really appreciate you having me on this call, and really exciting to talk to you and the community about about the project. There are some really great ways to kind of follow us. We have a Discord channel that has thousands of people there talking about Livepeer. We have a Twitter account. We have a Telegram group, and continue to follow Livepeer. We have some exciting year coming up.
Yeah, surely. So we'll also mention all of the details to follow up the Livepeer project in our description when we upload this interview, and probably the community will be in touch, and will follow up and stay updated with whatever are the latest happenings at Livepeer end.
Sounds good.
Yeah. So thank you very much, and hope to catch up soon.
Thank you, Jitesh.